Breaking it down in layman's terms, another behind the scenes review of video footage, lessons learned from interviewing and videos. And today I want to share an interview I did with Donald Kelly at the Outbound Sales Conference. Now, I had a chance to interview Donald back last year at the conference, and big advocate of what Donald puts out. So let's break down the interview, some of the things that I learned from the interview, some of the things I could do better, and maybe some best practices in interviewing. So let's show that footage right now. Lessons learned behind the scenes. On 2021, and I've got a friend I've connected with online, the Donald Kelly. Now, Donald had a chance to speak at this year's Outbound Conference. Donald, welcome to the A. Welcome to Atlanta. Welcome to Outbound.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, man. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate it. It was my first time at Outbound. Learned a lot. Had a fun connection with a lot of great folks and built a network. And yeah,
you made it happen.
Atlanta was good. Atlanta has been good.
Right there, you want to welcome your guest that you're interviewing, make them feel comfortable. Donald reciprocated with Atlanta being good. You could tell the interview was going to flow from the jump.
Been good to me.
Well, that's awesome. Now, what did you speak on in your breakout session there?
The breakout session today focused on how we can double our appointments using direct mail, like sending things in the physical mail. How can we stand out from the pack and land more business that way?
2 points of emphasis there. I asked him what he spoke on. Now, if you do your homework as an interviewer, whether you're going into a discovery call in sales, whatever, you should know the answer to that question. I knew the answer to the question of what he spoke on, but the audience did not know that, or the people watching the video on replay. So in the mind of the interviewer, you've got to think in the mind of your audience, getting that information out that transcends to your audience. Let's continue the footage. Well, I see you on LinkedIn. We're connected on LinkedIn. You're a beast putting out content. We had the Outbound Experience 2021, and I'm hoping to see you in the future. But is there any takeaways that you got from this year's conference?
The biggest takeaway I got from the conference this year is that I need to get out of my own way. For you, it's probably the same thing. Many of us, we have a goal. We have, the business, the number of business we want to attain and we want to accomplish. And the skills and the things that we were taught in sessions today and over the past several days were things that some of them were way about going to accomplish and were unique, were different. The principles were still the same. The biggest thing, though, is that many of us don't do what we know we're supposed to do, and we stand in our own way. We prevent that from happening. And one of the things that I saw here is we aim too low. We need to aim a lot higher. If you're trying to get 5 new clients, man, why 5? There got to be 10 people out there that you want to
raise the bar,
serve.
Elevate, set it past
exactly.
5 and higher. Keep it going.
And
right?
That's one of the things I got. It's not just from any individual message. It was just the undertone that we could do more and do more than what we have been doing for so long. We can.
Couple of things here, which I enjoyed about that part of the interview was when I asked Donald specifically the question about takeaways from the conference, he addressed the answer by saying takeaways from the conference. So he repeated my question with his response. The other thing I really enjoy about Donald as a speaker, he elevates his voice, he uses hand gestures, and the passion comes out. I tried to match that at the end by doing the whole 5 and higher, elevating the game, trying to mirror the interviewee with my own interview skills. But I enjoyed the way Donald answered the questions, but he hones in on the camera, but he also touches base with me. That's one thing as an interviewer, you want to speak to the person you're interviewing, but you also need to check in with the lens of the camera to let the people know that you're speaking to them directly. So you got to do a juggling act. Hone in directly to the camera and then look at the interviewer and come back. That's an art form. It's a skill set that I'm trying to develop. That's something you'll want to do when you interview people. Let's continue the footage.
Accomplish more. And that's one of the biggest takeaway I got from it, from a lot of different sessions.
Well, it's quite clear Donald has the passion for every type of engagement, direct mail, sales training, social, you name it, you claim it. Donald Kelly is the man to follow socially. Donald, before we wrap this up, any parting shots you can break down for me in layman's terms?
Parting shots, parting advice, quick tips. One of the biggest things that I'll just tell you right now is if you're not using video messages, you got to learn from this guy.
Right there, I want to stop Donald. Thank you, Donald. He gave praise to the interviewer. Reciprocity goes a long way, especially with me as an interview. I want to thank him for the shout out. And obviously, I'm going to do more collaboration with Donald, but humble, engaged the crowd, talked about his craft, but showed praise. And that goes on both sides, from the interviewee and the interviewer.
If you're not sending things in the mail, you got to test it out. Our focus of just the asynchronous one approach towards sales needs to evolve. And if we're not evolving, we're going to be left in the dust. So we still do our LinkedIn, we still do emails, we still do phone calls, but we added video for a number of years now and direct mail, and it's been absolutely amazing.
It has been amazing. You're amazing. The way to reach and connect with clients is amazing. Learn from this man. D. Donald Kelly. I'm Doug Lehman, kicking it off at Outbound. We'll see you next year. Thanks, Donald.
Thanks so much for having me, Doug.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
I thoroughly enjoyed that interview with Donald. The only thing I probably would have changed with that interview was purple jacket, purple background. So the color schemes did not match the interviewer with the backdrop. The other thing I would have loved to change is have a longer interview with Donald. But I think we covered a lot of key points, and time is of essence. But I could continue talking to Donald forever and a day, because he's a great interviewer, a great speaker, and a great trainer. I loved how he honed in on the camera, talked to me. Obviously, he's a dynamic keynote speaker. He's well-trained. He made my job as an interviewer very easy. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown behind the scenes of doing video interviews. A few takeaways: make sure you hone in on your audience on the camera, address the interviewer, meet the passion, match the passion, articulate your responses, and listen. I'm Doug, breaking it down in layman's terms, another installment of behind the scenes when it comes to video interviews, lessons learned to improve business communication.